The Quran, often perceived merely as a religious text, holds within its verses a multitude of messages that extend beyond spiritual guidance. Contrary to the misconceptions that it primarily promotes conversion or a singular religious worldview, the Quran actually encourages its followers to respect and learn from the teachings of other holy scriptures, such as the Bible and the Torah. It underscores the significance of making righteous choices in life, suggesting that life is a continuum of decisions that will be evaluated in the afterlife. Rather than portraying God as an intimidating entity, the Quran presents him as a benevolent force that advocates for good deeds. The narrative of Cain and Abel, a tale shared across the Old Testament, the Quran, and the Torah, offers another profound insight. Here, Satan is depicted not as a direct perpetrator of harm but as an instigator who influences individuals to make destructive choices. This narrative aligns with historical events, such as the Inquisition, where humans, not supernatural entities, were responsible for persecution and violence, and they will be held accountable for their actions. The Quran offers believers a sense of security, asserting that with unwavering faith, they need not fear even death. It goes to the extent of suggesting that a person's strong faith can render even poison harmless, emphasizing the brain's potential to influence the immune system. While discussing the Quran, it is imperative to differentiate between analyzing its content and endorsing Islam. Despite its resistance to the prevailing world order and its emphasis on the worship of one God, the Quran does not elevate Prophet Muhammad above other prophets or human beings. Instead, it fosters critical thinking and skepticism towards established systems, posing a potential threat to the current global order. A contentious issue in historical scholarship revolves around the reliance on ancient Sanskrit documents, many of which were acquired by European powers like Portugal, Spain, England, and France. The problematic aspect arises when these documents are used to authenticate historical claims, even though they were procured from native Indians who believed they could no longer decipher their ancestral language. Further inconsistencies emerge when examining supposed translations from Sanskrit to Greek inscriptions on monuments. For instance, historical photographs of Ephesus reveal no evidence of the ancient ruins that purportedly contain these inscriptions. Similarly, in Yogyakarta, Indonesia, local testimonies contradict the officially recognized chronology of reconstructed ancient ruins. Egypt's pyramids, often considered ancient marvels, are also subject to debate. Local documents suggest these structures were built relatively recently, challenging the widely accepted belief in their ancient origins. In the 1960s, the United States witnessed significant protests against the Vietnam War, but the followers of the Quran have consistently remained a formidable force, addressing contemporary issues such as dietary restrictions and skepticism towards mainstream narratives, notably during the COVID-19 pandemic. The Quran transcends its religious boundaries to become a political text as well. While its religious content focuses on faith in God and the afterlife, its political aspects cover a broad spectrum of topics. The Quran contains stories not found in the Bible, such as the tale of Gog, Magog, and Alexander the Great building a separating wall, suggesting that some historical figures and events may have originated from the Quran. The prevailing historical narrative in the West, which is also taught in many Eastern countries, diverges significantly from the history presented in the Middle East. While China and India, for instance, largely align their histories with the Western timeline, the Middle East presents a contrasting narrative. Anatoly Fomenko, a professor at Moscow State University, and his research team have challenged this mainstream historical narrative. They proposed an alternative timeline, arguing that much of the history attributed to European and Christian origins actually belongs to other cultures. Fomenko highlights that a majority of artifacts in Eastern Europe bear Arabic inscriptions, a fact largely overlooked by mainstream historians. He also draws parallels between the timeline of Russian kings and the Old Testament, which is evident in the histories of England, the Roman Empire, the Byzantine Empire, and many other nations. The Knights Templar present another historical anomaly. While official history claims they financed the construction of Gothic churches in northwestern Europe, they were also purported to have had a leader named Muhammad, raising questions about their true identity. Spain's rich Islamic history further complicates the narrative of Gothic cathedrals. The largest Gothic cathedral in the world, located in Spain, was allegedly a mosque converted into a church. Fomenko also highlighted discrepancies in the narrative surrounding Vienna Cathedral, the heart of the Holy Roman Empire, which was allegedly attacked by Muslim Turks. These Turks, however, bore Christian crosses on their flags, along with moons and stars. Despite the mass printing of books in Renaissance Italy, very few people spoke Italian until the 1850s, prompting questions about the intended audience for these publications. It presents an alternative historical timeline that challenges mainstream narratives and encourages humanity to question the historical inaccuracies perpetuated by the established order. Many researchers, including Michelle Gibson, discuss the Moorish Empire and the potential role of black-skinned people as civilization builders, possibly the true native populations supplanted by modern societies. History is a multifaceted tapestry with competing narratives. As Anatoly Fomenko and others have demonstrated, mainstream historical accounts can be deeply flawed and influenced by political and cultural biases. The Quran, with its comprehensive worldview, offers a different perspective on history, urging us to question established narratives and seek a deeper understanding of the complexities of human civilization.